Oh gosh, what a day. So I'm glad I got through the book of Job. Now I'm in a different, I took a bath, washed my hair. I have my t-shirt that I earned. It says, I for one welcome our squid overlords. I earned that because I contributed some squid limericks to some poets that put one of my limericks in their anthology. So today, I feel like I'm surrounded by zombies, and I'm living with a zombie. It's like a television zombie, and my neighbors are all zombies, and I miss getting to dance with Thrill the World zombie dancers so we could raise money for shelter care to help people who are homeless. That was fun. So today I'm studying zombies. It's Sunday and I'm peaceful. Certain parts of me feel dead, but I have this book called 101 Things Not Everyone Should Know How to Do. Forbidden Knowledge. And it's by Michael Powell. And it's under the humor genre. And the first thing you open up is how to tell if your neighbor is a zombie. Now, my son told me he believes in the zombie apocalypse. I believe in the zombie apocalypse too. So nothing brings down property prices in your area quicker than the discovery that you have reanimated human corpse. You have a reanimated human corpse living next door. Your neighbor seems to never sleep. Look at this picture. Never sleep. His lack of free will is alarming, to say the least, and his craving for human flesh means you live in constant fear for your life. I've probably watched one too many movies and one too many television or reports. Yeah, news reports. However, before you run over there with a chainsaw, like Chainsaw Massacre, spend a little time observing his movements to make sure that he really is a member of the undead, or rather than a goth or Keith Richards. I know some goth people. They're nice. They look like they're dangerous, but when you get to talking to them, they're just their style. They're nice people. They're not out to hurt anybody, I don't think. So what is a zombie? First, decide which of the two types of zombie that you are dealing with. Well, there's more than two types, but anyways, in this book, there's only two. Two types of zombies. The Hollywood B-movie zombie. I've been that. Or the Haitian voodoo zombie. I've been that too. I have voodoo dolls I made with my daughters at Girls Rock at LCC. And I've studied voodoo. I don't know about Creole and how some of the best stand-up comedy you can do is down south. Anyways, or a Haitian voodoo zombie. The former is a human corpse that has come back to life, while the latter has had his free will and, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but T-bone ange. It's Creole for little good angel. Has had his little good angel or soul removed by a sorcerer. My daughter said she thought I was upset, or not obsessed, but possessed. That's funny. I would love to meet the Pope and see if he could exorcise me. We could do jumping jacks together. I know where a sorcerer is. One of my professors at the University of Oregon. He's a wizard. Anyways, to keep things simple, let's assume that you are most likely to be troubled by the Hollywood B-movie strain. Characteristics of a zombie. Zombies enjoy groaning and milling around in groups. That's what I would do with my dance troupe that I belong to. One time my partner, who's a zombie, called up my ex-husband to see if my children could just call me up on Mother's Day. My ex-husband went, ugh, and then click. So he doesn't know how to communicate. He groans. Personal hygiene is poor. I know some people who are like that. They might be homeless. They might have a hard time getting access to facilities where they can engage in personal hygiene. And some people are just flat out lazy. For example, your neighbor might have an arm hanging off, wear tattered clothing, and reek of rotting flesh. Ugh. I know of some people who reek of rotting flesh. They're old, and it's all, and then there's that crocodile drug out there. Thank God I don't think I know anyone that takes that, but it'll cause your flesh to rot from the inside out. And I know of people who've died from hobo spider bites because the poison, the venom or whatever, will rot your flesh. And rotting flesh doesn't smell good. It's gross. Other telltale signs include, if he could understand your question, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? He would probably answer, I don't know. Dead. No, he might answer, still feasting on the brains of humans. Still feasting on the brains of humans, or brains of the living. All other hobbies and interests will have been subsumed by his all-consuming and unquenchable hunger for fresh human flesh. I have a friend who calls that skin hunger. She's not a cannibal. She's just lonely and she wants to be hugged and touched and loved. She doesn't get touched a lot, so she's got skin hunger. I think a lot of people in this day and age with the coronavirus lockdown has skin hunger.
That's right.
Unresponsive to communication. I have a family like that. They're all zombies. Pale complexion and clammy skin. Ugh, that doesn't look healthy. Pale complexion and clammy skin doesn't look healthy. There's some members on Trump's cabinet that looks like that. Trump looks like that. There's old men that look like that. They're just pale skin and they got probably clammy flesh. Ugh. Anything less subtle than a baseball bat is unlikely to discourage him from invading your personal space or biting your neck. That sounds like my cat, Olive. She'll groom you and lick you, and then all of a sudden she'll bite your chin. Those are also called hickeys. There's some, people enjoy giving each other hickeys. It's supposed to feel good. It means they're passionate about you and they really enjoy you and love you, or at least they would just want to be close to you and just experience you. And then they might not ever talk to you again. They might ghost you. They just got what they wanted and they're off like vampires or whatever, zombies, and go sit home and watch the TV. So, here's another one. Dull expression of the eyes. I have people who, I've looked at people like that and they're just like this. And anyways, on to other news. Dull expression of the eyes. They just have no clue what to say to you because they just can't think fast enough. And they just have maybe they're on drugs or they're drunk or whatever. They just, one time I was at a place to go dancing and a bartender was celebrating his birthday a little too heavy. And he was playing a video game. And they're playing. I walked by to play Galaga. And I said, hey, how are you doing? He goes like this. And he wasn't even playing the game. He was just standing in front of the game, just standing. I'm like, okay, he's on something. When I walk by, and then the next thing I know, I hear Another One Bites the Dust comes on. I want to go dance to it because that was my first wedding song. And as I'm walking back to go dance, he kills over in a dead drunk on concrete. Yikes. I bet he woke up with a headache. He's alive. He's a sweetheart. He drank too much and he passed out on concrete like a board. Just... And I stepped over his body going, okay, the song's appropriate. Another One Bites the Dust. He had people gathering around him to help him. And he is alive. That's good. Huh. So, dull expression of the eyes. Lumbering gait. I've met some people like that on the streets, and I've even done that while I was dressed like a zombie, on purpose though. Often with hands held out in front of body at arm's length. That's like a 90-year-old with a walker. They just need to sit home, sit down and watch TV or something and stay safe. Insensible to pain. For example, he doesn't cry out when you step on his foot, cut off his arm, or try to run him over repeatedly with your car. First of all, I did step on one of my daughter's feet once, but she was like, Mom! But she wasn't moving and she was being rebellious and whatever, teenage hormone stuff. And what was the other thing? Cut off his arm, that's horrible. No, if you're born without an arm, that's one thing. But to cut off someone's arm, you don't do that shit. Or run over somebody repeatedly with the car, no. You don't, no. You're not supposed to do that. You don't do that. And if you did that, they obviously couldn't cry out. I know of a woman in Eugene who was ran over by a garbage truck, and she's dead. But she was also sleeping in the parking lot in a red sleeping bag. That's not smart. Okay, so how to destroy your zombie neighbor. If you can't run away, or he corners you in an alley with a bunch of his friends, you should either burn or decapitate him. Not like that's going to send you to prison. I was cornered by a woman on drugs. Thank God she didn't have a bunch of friends on drugs. But, yeah, there are some people who are zombies. They're on drugs, and they're just homicidal. Zombies are highly susceptible to fire or electrocution. They're also susceptible to ignoring them. One time I was in Portland with my partner, and there was a guy trying to engage with us, and he was on something. I said, just don't even look at him. Just pretend he doesn't exist. Keep your eyes forward. Don't engage. Don't look at him. And just keep driving. And we got out of that situation safe and alive. And there was another guy in the crosswalk also on something trying to menace us. So Portland, Oregon is not always safe. And all we were doing was dropping my partner's son off at OHSU because he has a brain tumor and needed help. Or it was his wife who got cancer and needs to be kept safe and time to heal up. It is a common misconception that they have superhuman strength. Actually, no, that woman that was on drugs who attacked me, she probably could have lifted up a truck. She was on so much adrenaline. Yes, it took 3 men to wrestle her off of me, I think 2 or 3 men, and pin her down, and she was angry. She had superhuman strength in that moment. She really wanted to kill me, but she doesn't remember that night, and I don't even know why she wanted to kill me, because I didn't even know who she was. In fact, their poor agility and coordination make them an easy target for your average flamethrower and or M79 grenade launcher. So if you want to really get freaked out, I recommend watching Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It involves a flamethrower. Now, if you want to see another zombie, here's one. Derrida. Doesn't he look like a zombie? So he's a philosopher, and he talks about zombies in his... he's a great deconstructionalist, modern-day philosopher, and he talks about the zombie. So, undecidability. She's dead, yet alive. She's alive, yet dead. Now showing zombie. See this strange, strange story of a woman bowed to the will of an evil spell in whose power we must refuse to believe, even if it's true. The zombie is a late arrival in Western culture. It figures in the religion of enslaved West Africans in Haiti. from the 17th century. For 200 years, Western colonialists pictured voodoo as a terrorist religion of blood sacrifices and cannibalistic atrocities. But the zombie is a different kind of terror, a body without a soul, mind, volition, or speech. It's said to be a reactivated corpse, or a living body rendered soulless and mindless by sorcery. Hands. Between life and death. The zombie entered Western popular culture in the late 1920s. White Zombie is a movie, 1932, set the formula for Hollywood. White science meets black magic. It's an anxious encounter. What if the Western rationalist distinction of life and death doesn't hold? The anxiety has taken many forms. Zombies have been cast as catatonic lovers. I'm just going to lay here and let you do whatever you want to me, because I don't have any energy. Or inner city policemen. I'm only doing what I'm told. I'm going to haul you off the bus and I'm going to pound you and beat you, and I might be a robot. I might not even be a real human because of robotics. Invaders from the stratosphere. I come in peace. I'm an alien from another planet. Military expeditionaries. A lot of our troops come back with PTSD and they don't know how to function in society. They are like zombies. Nightclub entertainers. And so on. But whatever the scenario, the zombie has a basic model. Alive but dead, dead but alive. In a culture which separates the living from the dead, the zombie occupies the space in between. So we're all kind of like zombies right now as we're held hostage in our homes, watching television and news and just being socially distanced from everyone. Between life and death, it's an uncertain space. The zombie might be either alive or dead. But it cuts across these categories. It is both alive and dead. I'm both alive and dead. Equally, it is neither alive nor dead. Since it cannot take on the full senses of these terms, true life must preclude true death. The zombie short circuits the usual logic of distinction. Having both states, it has neither. It belongs to a different order of things. In terms of life and death, it cannot be decided. According to Hollywood, the zombie is a secret we must refuse to believe, even if it is true. Undecidables are threatening. They poison the comforting sense that we inhabit a world governed by decidable categories. Oh no, look at that, look. Look at those buttons. Electricity. No eyeballs. Oppositions. The term life and death is a binary opposition, a pair of contrasted terms, each of which depends on the other for its meaning. It's like light and dark. You can't have one without the other. Love and marriage. Yeah. Each of which depends on the other for its meaning. There are many such oppositions, and they're all governed by the distinction either/or. If we accept this, it establishes conceptual order. Binary oppositions classify and organize the objects, events, and relations of the world. They make decisions possible. And they govern thinking in everyday life, as well as philosophy, theory, and sciences. Undecidables disrupt this oppositional logic. That's what I did. I couldn't decide which one to vote for this past election, so I voted for the Antichrist. I figured it was a 2-for-1 vote. They're both so evil, it made sense. It's time to usher in the Antichrist. See what happens. They slip across both sides of an opposition, but don't properly fit either. They are more than the opposition can allow, and because of that, they question the very principle of opposition. So you're high or you're low, true or false, right or left, west or east, male or female, mind or body, inside or outside, positive, negative, present, past, alive, dead. Pick your poison and create your world. I choose to keep my spirits up high. I've been through some lows. I like high. And I'd prefer to be true rather than false, but I know about phallic objects and fallacies. What is true? Right or left? Well, if you want to be right, maybe you'll leave the rest of us left behind. East or west? I'm not in the east, I'm in the west. People from the east come my way, but I'm in the west. Male or female? I'm a female. I do have male energy. I have a little bit of testosterone in me. And I can be dangerous too, but I choose not to be. I'm female. Mind or body? Well, your mind is housed inside your body. Duh. If you have a healthy body, you should have a healthy mind with a good memory. Inside, outside. Right now I'm inside, but outside looks attractive too. But if I go outside, I'm still inside my brain. Positive, negative. I prefer positive, but I know negative does exist. I've been negative, but I prefer positive. In fact, I'm so positive, I'm O positive blood. Common. Present, past. Well, I live in the past, but the past keeps repeating itself. And so then I try to stay in the present, in present terms. And right now it is a sunny day, and it is peaceful. And today is a gift. It's a present. In the future, who knows what's going to happen in the future. Alive or dead, I'm both. The horror of indeterminacy. Zombies are cinematic inscriptions of the failure of the life-death opposition. They show where classificatory order breaks down. They mark the limits of order. Like order in the court. Stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. No, I won't accept that. Yes, I will. No, I won't. Yes, I will. No, I won't. Yes, I will. Oh, no, I'll listen to the biggest story that makes sense to me because I don't know who you are. It looks like you're probably a really dangerous person, obviously. Like all undecidables, zombies infect the oppositions grouped around them. They ought to establish stable, clear, and permanent categories. But what happens to white-black, that's called bipolar thinking. Like anyone who's a different skin color than you must automatically be somehow bad. Anyone who thinks outside the box must be crazy. White-black, master-servant. I could write a book on that one. And civilized, primitive. I could write a book on that one too. When white colonialists can also be the zombie slaves of a black power. I've been that before. I've driven my friends who are dark-skinned. I've been their chauffeur before and their servant. They're just humans. If they don't have a car, and I do, I'll help them if I can, but I don't want to expose them to this coronavirus right now, if I happen to have it. Can white science, black magic remain untroubled if what sometimes works against a zombie is white magic, the Christian religion? The Christian religion is considered white magic. But white magic can also be pharmaceuticals and white powder like cocaine. Anything white could be magical, and it might not. If it doesn't heal you, it could kill you. The power of love or superior morality. How certain is the opposition inside-outside if the zombie's internal soul is extricated and an external force becomes its inside? Is there any security in opposing masculine to feminine and good to evil when the zombie is usually desexualized and has no power of decision? So I was told that just because I had a lot of children doesn't make me a good mother. I have a book in my possession that says what determines a good mother. I know some bad mothers, and they still have access to their children. I know some mothers who are bad examples of how to live life, but they still have access to their children. So, click, dead. Rest in peace. The zombie is therefore fascinating and also horrific, kind of like dicks and vaginas and humans and children and death and destruction and this virus and beer and wine and different types of lifestyles. And I mean, everything is just fascinating and horrific. Or it can be, or might not be. It poisons systems of order, and like all undecidable, ought to be returned to order. In zombie movies, this return to order is difficult. For a classic, satisfying ending, the troubling element has to be removed. So if I'm trouble, I have to be removed, perhaps by killing it. That's harsh. But zombies are already alive while dead. You can't kill a zombie. You have to resolve it. It has to be killed categorically. That's like getting rid of motherhood. Kill motherhood and all of humanity goes away. And then we have no more zombies and no more stories. Just quit being a mom. Just get rid of moms. Go watch Hereditary. And that's an attack on moms. If every woman ripped out her womb and didn't have a baby, all of humanity would be over in one generation. If every man went out and had a vasectomy and snipped off his dick and no one had any more babies, humanity would be over in a short order. So keep having babies and deal with it. A magic agent or superior power will have to decide the zombie, returning it to one side of the opposition or the other. It has to become a proper corpse or a true living being. At that point, the familiar concepts of life and death can rule again, untroubled. This is a restoration of conceptual order. And then there's a picture of a big old mishmash of time periods. Don't you love those iconic symbols? There are other endings less final. The zombies might be eradicable. They might return. Perhaps undecidability is always with us. If not figured in the zombie, then something else. Ghosts, golems, or vampires. Between life and death. Between male and female, the androgyny. Between human and machine, the android. Between friends and enemies, the stranger. The estranged. What if the comfort of order is not to be restored? What if we insist on undecidability? The ceaseless play of either or, neither nor, or both.